Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.
Welcome to the two Bob's Cast. We, as you may know, are an A to Z rock and metal podcast. We are now moving into season 2, episode 1, as we were back at the letter A. So we finished off the last bunch of the alphabet in season 1. We finished off with ZZ Top, and now we are moving, if you couldn't tell, along to Avenged Sevenfold at the letter A for season 2. So this is podcast number 40, season 2, episode 1. I am here. I'm Mr. H. I am here again, as usual, with the herd, the one and only. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, partner. I'm excited that we made it. About a year ago, we started this gig, and we didn't know really what would come of it. And obviously, we wanted to go as long as we could, and to make it through the alphabet once, and to still be excited about it, and still, loving it, and I'm still excited to log in and do this. I think it's awesome. So
same.
Been a fun ride, partner. Thank you, and
absolutely.
Hopefully we're going to have many, many more. But
yes, sir.
But it's good. Things are good, man. How's it going with you? Anything new?
Pretty good. The Cavs are dominating. So, I mean.
Yeah, how about that game last night? It was almost boring.
Yeah.
It's like 60-point lead at one point.
What game? You mean the practice that they had, the shoot around? Yeah, that was crazy. They won 4 games by 122 points. It's an NBA record. That's 30-plus points a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
We didn't do that when we had LeBron. Like,
no,
we weren't dominating, but
yeah,
Miami did not.
Miami quit.
They quit. That's what I was going to say. They did not want to be there anymore. They were ready for vacation.
That's what I thought too. But then I'm looking. They live in the land of vacation.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do.
Where would you go on vacation from South Beach? I mean, that's kind of silly, right?
They find a place.
Yeah, I guess maybe you get bored of it. It's like I used to work at Taco Bell, right? Like, you get sick of it after a while. Like, and
yeah,
you're like, I'd rather eat anything but Taco Bell. They're like, how? Taco Bell's so good.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I get got a question. So. Aldanova, is that N or A?
That's a good question. We decided that because it's a name, I think we're just going with the first letter. Like Alice Cooper for us is not in the C's. Of course, that's not his real name either, but
right.
It's not in the C's. We would go with the A's for that. So Aldanova will probably be the A's. But honestly, we're going to try to fit it in wherever we have the least amount of bands. Little trade secret there. So
yeah.
Probably A, because that's going to have less bands than N, I think. But
probably
we would have.
You know what, John? Like I always say, life is just a fantasy. We live this fantasy life. I mean, of course,
I don't think anybody but you, John, wants to see us do an Aldo Nova podcast. Although it seems like nobody but you and Brian S. want to see us do a podcast anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
I would easily rank Aldo Nova's self-titled debut album as number 1. We could.
Blood on the Bricks, brother. Blood on the Bricks.
I don't know
it. My God.
I only know my dad had that debut album. It thing ripped. So
it did. That'd probably be 2 or 3 for me. Blood on the Bricks is God, good. Oh my God. Yeah.
Anyhow, life is a fantasy, and Ball and Chain, and like that's the only one I know. So I want to go listen to the other stuff. So
yeah, listen to Blood on the Bricks.
Okay. All right.
I bet John would even agree with that.
Thanks, John, for for
We're not
stopping by.
doing Alda Nova. Oh, 1 and 1A. There you go.
Okay.
We are not doing Alda Nova today. We're doing
We are
Avenged
not.
Sevenfold today. So here we go. Why don't you tell us about Avenged Sevenfold?
Avenged Sevenfold.
One of your favorites.
I love these guys. Absolutely. One of those bands I got lucky to jump in on the ground floor on, basically ground floor, as we're going to talk about. They were kind of slow to get started, and they were an evolving lineup. So they were formed technically in Huntington Beach, California in 1999. It was formed by Matthew Sanders, known as M Shadows. We're just going to get right into that.
Let's get the
stage
names
name.
out of the way because God, they're awful.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
M Shadows, Matthew Sanders. We got Zachy Vengeance, who is Zachary Baker, and The Rev, James Sullivan. Those were the three main band members that started it all. It was a bunch of other guys that were on at the beginning. Not a whole lot of them stuck around. Those three were the mainstays in the band from beginning to end. And then we'll talk about the other guys coming up a little bit later. Avenged Sevenfold, one of those bands that has drastically changed musical styles over the years. They started out really, really heavy, like kind of one of the pioneers, I guess, of metalcore early on, but very quickly evolved more into lots of different things, progressive elements, longer songs, more heavy metal at certain points, but sometimes some punk influences, alternative metal, hard rock in some of their instances. They even started doing a lot of stuff with like you could see like Broadway type influences and some of their stuff. Very experimental. This band, and again, we'll get into all the albums, and this will be an interesting conversation with me and Mr. H here because, again, one of my favorite bands, and they can do not a lot wrong in my book, but they have really pushed that limit a couple of times because they go pretty far off the beating path. But really, the thing about them is just they're always evolving. They're always trying to do something different. I give them credit for that. They've never really made an album that is identical to the next one. They're always kind of moving on to something else while still maintaining, kind of the same basis of it. There's still guitar solos, like soaring guitar solos and awesome riffages and the singing is pretty much the same after the first couple albums, but just one of those bands that just are constantly evolving. They kind of started off doing like in the Warped Tour crowd, which wasn't really a good start for them. They were on with all these other like punkish bands, and they didn't really fit in. So they didn't really get big until later on. We'll talk about that a little bit later, about where they kind of turned the corner. But that kind of leads us into the first album, released on July 24th of 2001. So about 2 years after they had started. The name, obviously, Sinister Gates is going to be coming up soon. He did not play on this album. He was technically not part of the band at this point. He joined shortly after this was done, released. He came back and played the intro track for a later version of it. But at this point, it's M Shadows on vocals, Zachy Vengeance on guitar, the Rev on drums, and then the bass player. His name's Just Insane. He didn't stick around for very long.
Just Insane.
Yeah, Just Insane. Yeah. So anyway, so we got a sounding the seventh trumpet,
but a 4-piece, right? At this point?
No, it's 5. Yeah, 4-piece. You're right.
Okay.
Zachy Vengeance did do all the guitars for this album. So yeah, 4-piece. Got 13 songs, 52 minutes long, which actually kind of short probably for their albums. They do longer albums. That kind of goes with their progressive sounding type of thing. They play lots of longer type songs. We talk about how their sound evolved. This album is very heavy. It's more on the metalcore roots of it. but there's not a lot of singing on this, which is actually, if you listen to a lot of Avenged Sevenfold going forward, you wouldn't really understand what's going on. This album is mostly all screams, it sounds really nothing like Avenged Sevenfold. Musically, it does. Couple notes about this album: it's recorded in 8 days, in November of 2000. Only had a budget of 2,000. The Rev recorded all drums in one take, which becomes a topic of conversation later on. The band kind of forced him to change that later on, but one take. He did not like clicks. He does not like any of that. He wanted to just do his own thing.
Bit of a drum prodigy, huh? Man.
Absolutely. I mean, he was phenomenal for
he's
sure.
revered
Yes.
as a drummer. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a pun, but he's seriously good.
Oh yeah,
drummer.
he's ridiculous, and we'll talk about that more later. He obviously is no longer with us. Very sad. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very suddenly. But yeah, obviously the title of this album, it's taken from the Book of Revelations, as people probably would imagine. Though this is not obviously a Christian band of any kind, they just took it from that, referencing chapter 11, the sounding of the last trumpet, which is the seventh trumpet, heralding the end of the world. How metal of them to do so.
Is the band's name Avenged Sevenfold a religious?
Yep.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
connected somehow.
Mm-hmm. Same thing, I think. And again, these guys, I feel like, do that a lot. Their imagery and things like that is very vivid. Very like they're very well known for their skulls and their bats, and I think very cool looking album covers, things like that. Funny thing, on my car, I actually have a front license plate with the bat on it. So I always thought that was the coolest thing, their imagery and such. But yes, the name Avenged Sevenfold did come also from a biblical type reference. But yeah, not a Christian rock band in any way, shape, or form. 13 tracks on the debut album, very heavy. Don't really care for this one very much. Even going back to it now, it's just really hard for me to get through this record. Very, very heavy. This is the only album that Avenged Sevenfold will do with basically all harsh vocals. And this was planned, I guess, by Matt. Basically had said this album's going to be heavy. The next album's going to be half and half. And then he said he's never going to go back to it again, which he's held true, give or take a few moments here or there with some screamy vocals. But he usually sings now going forward. Some songs that I like off of this album, I do like Turn the Other Way. I do like Darkness Surrounding. I do like We Came Out at Night. A lot of this kind of runs together, though. It's very long. There's a lot of songs here. You could kind of get the makeup of what Avenged Sevenfold was going for here, but you can hear the sound in there, but it's very, as they say, proto Avenged Sevenfold. You don't have Sinister Gates in here yet, which to me I think is a big part of this band and why I like them so much. So I never really was able to identify with this record at all. So with me, I don't really know that I would skip it. A lot of this stuff, it sounds fine to me. Their single "Warmness on the Soul" is probably one of my least favorite songs of the whole catalog. So there's some rough moments in here, but overall, not terrible. Definitely have heard worse debut albums, but definitely better. This is not necessarily what I love about this band. So for me, this is an easy number 8 ranking. This is a D+. This is the only album that I never come back to. There's not even like a moment where I love that song, I got to come back to this. So to me, this was easy, bottom of the barrel for them. This is just not them yet. This is just early infancy of Avenged Sevenfold. So not my thing. So number 8 and a D+. Mr. H, what did you think of sounding the seventh trumpet?
I pretty much agree with you. I don't like the overall sound on this
Yeah.
one, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
The production is kind of but it's it's a debut album. It's low budget. It's kind of sounds to me like they hadn't found their identity yet. I mean, maybe this is what they wanted to put out, but it kind of feels like almost Slipknot ish, but not as good.
Yeah.
Like the songs aren't as good, but it's kind of all over the place like that. Like there's not a lot of song structure. It's just stuff is just crammed in there, and it just doesn't kind of make a lot of sense. But it's not terrible. Like the musicianship is okay. Like I don't mind heavier stuff if it's done the right way. I just don't
Sure.
feel like this one is that good. But and as you great point that you made, much of it sounds the same. A lot of these songs sound the same. Where I don't know a lot of these songs. I haven't listened to this album, but maybe once in my whole life, other than this time. So,
Mhm.
and I just found that I was like, okay, am I on the next song or is this the same song? Like, if I kind of lost my attention a little bit, then I kind of didn't know where I was because a lot of it does kind of sound the same. But every once in a while, here and there, you'll hear what their future will sound like. So, parts of the songs We Come Out at Night, I noted, Lies of Deceit, Warmness on the Soul. There's parts in there where you can hear, because I know what the future stuff sounds like, you can hear it in there. And I'm like, okay, this is they're going to turn this into bigger things later. But just parts of songs. So,
Yeah.
my favorite songs, I do like Turn the Other Way like you do, and I do like Warmness on the Soul, and I think because it has parts of it that, where I guess he sings a little bit,
Yeah.
and it just he's got a great like scratchy singing voice, and the dude, I mean, later on, the dude can really, really sing. So
Yeah.
this is not indicative of that at all. This doesn't show any kind of vocal chops that Matt M. Shadows has later on. I mean, the dude's a ridiculously talented metal singer, and unfortunately, we don't hear a lot of that. I'll get to the most recent album later, where again, like, what are you doing, man? He's got such a phenomenal voice. Like they don't need to do the things that they do. Like,
Yeah.
and but at this point, I mean, he's still very young, I'm sure, and later on things get better, and we'll kind of explain that as we go. But there's really no skippers for me here. There's nothing I hate on this album. There's nothing where I'm like, man, I can't do this. So to me, this is kind of a C range. It's okay, it's listenable, but there's just not a lot on here that I really like. Like you said, I'm not going to come back and like I got to hear this song again.
Sure.
If I heard one live because they broke it out live somewhere, I'd be like, oh, that's right, this is one of those, but I don't love any of these songs. So there's small parts of songs here and there I like, but just not a whole like song in total. But again, nothing I really hate. So I had this at number 7, and this is just kind of a straight C. Kind of starts it off and kind of does what it does. I do have a question though. I was looking at the writers on this one, and the song 12 Streets, number 12, it says the writers are Matthew Sanders and Successful Failure. Who in the world is named Successful Failure?
So
Is that a
Successful Fail.
band
No, yeah, it's a
name or
band name.
person?
That was, I believe, M Shadow's band before he was
So
in
this is
Avenged Sevenfold.
okay.
So his
Gotcha.
old band wrote it.
So good for him that he credited them in there.
Yeah.
That's good. I do like the fact that he put that in there. But I'm like, is that a
Who is that?
person? Like
Right.
who's Successful Failure? That's interesting. So
Yeah.
anyway, I had to know. I figured you'd know. So um, anyway, I had this at number 7 and just a straight up C. So.
Okay. Very good. That will take us to the second studio album released August 26th, 2003, about 2 years later. And now we get to a little bit closer to the Avenged Sevenfold sound. This one, like explained earlier, kind of the plan. And this comes from the producer who name's Andrew Murdoch. He's known as Mudrock, and he's best known for Godsmack, I think, are the two main albums he did. Their self-titled and Awake album. but he worked with them early on, and basically that's kind of people are, I don't know, word of mouth. Everybody's like, well, the reason M Shadows doesn't scream anymore is because he had throat surgery or he hurt his voice and now he can't do it anymore, which they're saying is totally not true. He had planned from the beginning, we want to be the most heavy melodic band out there. So obviously he wasn't wanting to continue the screaming. So the first album was all screaming. This one is half screaming, half singing. And I think it works. This is the metalcore sound. This is as most metalcore, I think, as they get. This is in the vein of Trivium and Kill Switch. Absolutely. Yep. Some of the bands that they toured with, your boys Mushroom Head, yep. Shadows Fall. This is before they got popular. This album didn't really sell very well. Didn't really actually sell well until the next album came out, where people went back and was like, I need to hear what this band is doing. And that's kind of when this blew up. But man, it was a seamless transition for me. When I started at the next album and worked my way back here, I was like, okay, this is really, really good. So this is where they got it for me. This is their last album before they signed with like a real record label. I don't want to say real, but like Hopeless Records, like an independent record company. Their first two were those type of releases. And basically just released this out and have added the two other remaining members of the band, obviously Sinister Gates, who's Brian Hayner Jr., and Johnny Christ, who goes Jonathan Seward. But this is the main.
I don't know why I laugh at that one more than Sinister Gates.
I know.
I don't know if there's a worse name.
Yeah,
but,
there may not be.
Whatever. This is so bad.
I
kind of wish they had outgrown that and just went with their real names after a while. But I guess once you pick a stage name and you get popular with those names, I guess you kind of got to keep them. But
yeah.
Oh man, it sounds so like 14-year-old-ish,
I would honestly like.
That's all I'll say about that. I could complain about that all day. It's always driven me nuts about that. But I swear I will not bring it up again.
Yeah. So I wonder if you went, like they do those shows, like if you're wearing a t-shirt of a band, they're like, name 3 songs from that band.
Yeah.
I wonder if we walked around and was at like an Avenged Sevenfold concert, name all 5 members of the band, real names. I wonder how many people could do it.
Nobody could.
Probably nobody, because they all just know them by those names.
I know.
Zacky Vengeance.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy, but
it's bad.
But really they've kept it, through the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Give them credit. They hung on to them.
But this is I would say the core 5. This is probably the 5 that would be there today if it wasn't for the loss of the Rev. So these 5 are going to continue forward until they lose their drummer in a couple albums. But Waken the Fallen, 12 songs, 68 minutes, 45 seconds. Again, long stuff they do here. They do not hold back, especially now with Sinister Gates now aboard. I think that's the game changer here. We can make fun of his name, but he's probably the best. And again, I know you can look at different categories of who plays solos the best, but he does it all. I mean, he does speed, he does soul, he does melodic, he does heavy. I mean, he hits it all. The guy is a phenomenal guitar player.
He is outstanding. You are so right.
Just outrageous. And it sucks that he gets the credit of it because he plays the solos, because Vengeance is also phenomenal too. And together they rip. And one of the coolest things, and I'll talk about this more on the next album, but up on stage, the lefty and the righty back-to-back soloing together it's so damn cool.
It's pretty cool.
Like just watching them up there, like soloing back-to-back, to me, it's super cool. But Waken the Fallen, again, that's where everything changed for me with this band. Unholy Confessions was their big hit off of here. They still play it every show. I don't think they've probably had a show and not played that since probably 2003. So Unholy Confessions, Chapter 4, so good. Reminiscence, so good. Eternal Rest, Second Heartbeat, these are my favorites. I Won't See You Tonight, Part 1 is phenomenal. Number 2 kind of loses me a little bit. but not a whole lot of skippers here. I think this is really good stuff. It doesn't have the high quality that they're going to have later on with production, things like that. They did remaster this and it does sound better, but they kind of suffer from, they didn't have a lot of money yet. When you listen to this, you have to put yourself kind of back where they were at, where this is when they were on the Warped Tours. This is when they were scraping by, hoping people would find them and listen to them. Just good stuff. Like, just especially in looking at their whole catalog, I think this really stands up for me. I still go back and listen to this a lot. Really, really good. I don't really have any skippers here other than I Won't See You Tonight Part 2. Don't really like that. The rest of it, I think, is pretty damn good. If not, just I hang around for the solos and it blows me away almost every song. Waken the Fallen for me is a really, really good album. It lands number 5 for me and a B. Just really, really solid, especially going back and listening to this. Still love it as much as I did before. Mr. H, what did you think of Waken the Fallen?
I have this ranked exactly the same place you did, at number 5. I do like this album. It's a much more refined sound with a little bit better production. I think the biggest difference, though, you already said it, is Sinister Gates adding a second guitar player with the skills that guy has and the songwriting ability, the guitar, riff writing ability of a guy like that. It just, I mean, like you said, Zach Vengeance is good too, and they're great together. But man, God, did he make such a huge difference in this band. Just way better song structure. Although still kind of repetitive. Some of the songs still do sound very similar. It's kind of hard to tell some of them apart, but especially for me, not knowing them as well. I didn't really hear of this band until City of Evil came out. So this was one that I came back to. I just didn't care for it as much as you did, but I have this again. I was a B minus, so I mean it's almost pretty much right where you have it. I don't love it as much as you did, but there's still some weird harsh vocals that sound pretty bad. But I think Matt M Shadows is still finding his way. I don't think he's quite there yet, and there's reasons for that. And we'll talk about that on the next album. But he's still getting there. And I put in here too. I thought that Unholy Confessions is the only thing they still play live. I think, is that the only one? I think maybe Second Heartbeat. I think they've played here and there.
Yeah, and I think they've played
nowadays,
Chapter,
but
yeah, I think they played Chapter a little
4.
bit too.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean that's basically it. They have, now that they have so many albums and so many popular songs, I feel like they have to play this. They have to play this. They always play Unholy Confessions, but I can't.
I was just trying to think of another song I've heard live off of this album, and I Second Heartbeat is the only one that comes to mind. So
yeah,
but I haven't seen him obviously as many times as you have. So how many times have you seen him? Do you know?
I believe I'm at 13, 14. Okay. It's quite a few times.
Okay, I think it's only 2 for me. So.
But they don't come to Cleveland a lot. I've had to see them at different places. So
festivals and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I just wondered because I don't think I've heard another song off of this except for that one. But my favorites are Unholy Confessions. Most of it. I don't really like the whole song, but I like most of it. Clairvoyant Disease I liked, and All Things Will End, except for the last 2 minutes. They should have cut that off, I think. It's the last track. There's nothing going on the last 2 minutes. There's no reason it needs to be almost 8 minutes long. Like, just cut it down to 5.5. It's just this weird stuff at the end that doesn't need to be there. But I think it's a good song. No skippers for me. Again, it's all listenable. I Won't See You Tonight. I don't love either, but it's a part 2 of a 2-part song, and they kind of go together. They're kind of contrasting, but they kind of fit together. So I was like, I don't know that I love that song, but I mean, the two together are almost 14 minutes. I mean, that's kind of long too, but again, it's 2 songs. So I don't hate it. It wasn't enough to skip it, but I have this at number 5. And my notes at the end here are the band is definitely rounding into form on this one. They're going places. So if I was listening to this and they only had 2 albums out and I heard this, I'd have been like, "Yep, I think this band, they're going somewhere." Because if they keep going with the progression that they're going, they're definitely going places, and they did. So it's easy to say now, obviously, because I know that. But yeah, they're definitely going places. So I have this B minus number 5.
All right. Very good. Number 3, City of Evil, released June 6th, 2005. And this is where they were discovered. Kind of by chance. So I actually got lucky. I got a promotional copy of this record, like right when it was released. And I got to see them right before the Odeon here in Cleveland closed for, I don't know if it was the first time, maybe this, I think it closed a long time ago and reopened, but it after this, it was shut down pretty quick. And so I got to see basically them play the whole City of Evil album and probably half of the previous record at the Odeon with 1,000 people. So, man, it's probably one of those moments in life that you just always will think of that. Just seeing those type of bands in smaller venues, just super cool. But this album was obviously what put them on the map. They didn't hardly sell any copies of Waken the Fallen. This one came out with a little bit of help from none other than Good Charlotte. If you know who those guys are, really big in the pop punk type range in this time, 2005. They were on. Do you remember the show TRL?
Yes.
Back in the day? TRL. Good Charlotte was huge. They were, the it band, and they were friends. And basically said, we're going to take Avenged Sevenfold and play on TRL Live. And they played Bat Country, who blew them up to where they saw sales like they wouldn't have ever imagined. Number 30 on the Billboard 200 charts. They were certified platinum and gold in both Canada and the UK. They went on to sell 1.2 million copies in the UK alone and 2.5 million total worldwide, making it the best-selling album in their discography as of 2020. That may have changed. They've released the one album since, but this album basically blew them into stardom. Music videos for The Beast and the Harlot, Bat Country. Their first single, Burn It Down, really didn't do that well, but once Bat Country hit and once Beast and the Harlot hit, these guys were superstars. So the main thing with the Rev, we talked about earlier, how he played everything live on that first record. Then they made him play a click track on the second album. Now he was trying to increase stamina to play even faster. They're saying the Rev would sit for hours practicing until he could get up to 210 beats a minute. But if you listen to this album, the drumming is just a masterclass of what is going on here. This dude is unreal. You mix that with the guitars, the guitar solos. This album is where it hit for me with this band. Now, it has not held up as well over the years to me. I don't go back to this one as much as I used to, but this is legendary in my mind with just the spawning of this band and really becoming who they are. Now, they really pissed off their older fans, not that there was that many of them at that time, but this is a very drastic style change to even Waken the Fallen. This is it's just hard rock, maybe a little more metal, I guess. All clean vocals. There's no screams in here. M. Shadows is now fully involved in singing, which he will do going forward. No more growls, but maybe here or there. And just again, really, really blew them up with these videos. For me, my favorites on here, 11 songs, again, 72 minutes. So these songs all are very long. All of them are over 5 minutes, most in the 6 to 7 range. Very long songs, very progressive-y, a lot of guitar parts, a lot of just winding guitars and stuff, which I love that stuff. I can understand though how people might like some of their later stuff because it's a little bit more, I guess, streamlined. I guess more just quicker. Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. Favorites on this one, of course, Beast and the Harlot. Blinded in Chains, phenomenal. They just played that in the last tour that I saw them. Bat Country is a song that I respect that I don't really care for anymore. I think a lot of people kind of feel that way, where that song just kind of was just overblown. I'm not going to say
blowing up my whole spot here, man.
I'm not going to say I would skip Bat Country because I still appreciate it for what it is. Man, whatever about that song, Sinister Gates plays about a minute guitar solo in this, and it's freaking phenomenal. Just fast forward and listen to the minute guitar solo in Bat Country, and it will tell you exactly what you're dealing with this guy. A little bit of everything. Seize the Day is amazing. I love that song. The Wicked End, Strength of the World. Overall, a very, very good album. I do think a few albums have passed it up since, but man, when this came out, I listened to this so much. It was my favorite album of the year. I didn't think anything could ever beat it. Now it's number 3 for me, but it's an A-. Third favorite album. So I have 3 A albums from Avenged Sevenfold. This one is very, very good, but it just maybe doesn't live up to where it lived back in the day. Mr. H, City of Evil. What did you think?
Man, I'm just not even going to bother with this whole paragraph I wrote about Bat Country here because
you could still say
blew the whole thing.
No,
up.
say it.
First, I'm going to say that I do like the direction that they're going. They're getting closer to what I really like. I put 2 hands in the air for what you talked about their future stuff and their more streamlined hard rock / metal approach that I absolutely love by them. So I'm not quite there yet with them, but I'm getting there. Bad Country notwithstanding. Shadows worked really hard on his vocals, and it shows. I guess he worked with a vocal coach, Ron Anderson, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, he worked with Axl Rose and Chris Cornell, like, big names, guys that can really sing. Guys that, that guy's not working with people who don't have it already. Like this guy really brought out that grit in his voice where he still has incredibly great tone, but this guy can really sing. And you can tell he worked really hard on it. It's much better than it was before. And again, it sounded like that was his plan. I don't know that he had planned 5 years earlier that he was going to work with this vocal coach and all that, but anyway, it all worked out, and the dude sounds amazing. He really does. He's got one of those voices that's completely recognizable. You hear that guy open his mouth and start singing without effects, which we'll talk about later, and you know who that is. There's no mistaking who that is that's singing. So, I mean, the guy could just go off on his own and sing the alphabet, whatever, and I would know who it was. He could sing for another band, and I'd know immediately as soon as he started singing with whoever it was, I'd know who it was. It's just he's got that kind of voice. I still feel like they're kind of still in their growing up stage as a metal band on this album, though, although it's pretty much kind of rounding together here. It's just not as polished, I guess, but
sure,
you can definitely hear like the next few albums are all like right there, like they're there. Like this one, they're still just almost there. But my favorite songs on here are Sidewinder. Love Sidewinder. Strength of the World, Betrayed. I love the mid-tempo songs with the killer riffs and the back and forth guitar work. That's where this band totally excels for me. And I also put Look Out, there's a lot more of this on the way. So Skippers, I hate Bat Country. I cannot stand that song. I know it sounds crazy for somebody who likes this band. I've always hated that song. It's thrash. It's goofy sing-along. It's ballad. It just sucks. It sucks. The only thing I like, and you already mentioned it, is the guitar solo. The guitar solo is outstanding. The rest of the song is complete garbage for me. I also don't like Trashed and Scattered, and I don't like Seize the Day. I know you like Seize the Day a lot. It just doesn't work for me. Um, I have this as a B. I have this as number 4. They're getting better, but there's still some stuff on here that I don't like. But some of the second half songs I really like, but them being too long kind of works against them. I feel like the second half of the album, like kind of 7 through 11, the songs are sounding more like these future albums are going to sound like, but they're just like one of them's 9 minutes long, one of them's almost
Yeah.
9. They're just too long. So, but they're getting there. So that I definitely like that, and I really don't like Backcountry. With I thought we were going to have this huge fight over Backcountry, and it's funny because you're like, yeah, you know what, I really don't like that one either. So I'm like, hey, all right, so we agree to agree.
Yep.
But I have this as a B, and I have this at number 4, so not far off from where you have it. Things are definitely coming together. Maybe it would have helped for me had I seen this band back then
Yeah.
and been at that Odeon show with you, maybe, because that's where the buzz was really picking up for this band. And it's kind of a cool ride to be on. That's happened for a few bands for me, not a lot, but a few bands. And it's hard to just get in. And then there's a lot of bands that started off and I'm like, man, this band's going to be great. And they're really good. And I love them. And then there's like, you're there with 300 people but then it just, nothing ever happens. It just fizzles out. That's happened so many times, but to be there and kind of ride along with this band and be like, I saw them this time. And then the next time I saw them, it was a little bigger place. And it was hard to get tickets. And then the next time I saw them, it was at like a mid-size arena and I'm still on the floor, like it's cool to go on that ride. And I think I probably feel better about this album had I been on that ride too. But I had just, obviously I saw Backcountry video. It was everywhere. Them were riding around in the convertible. And, it's just, the video stuck in my head. I always hated the song and I'm like, ugh, so I didn't really give this a lot of listens back then where I really should have, because there's a lot here that I like. So, but I didn't realize that until later and they were already kind of blown up by then. So, so anyway, I have this as a B, number 4. I can appreciate this a lot more now than I did back then, because I wanted nothing to do with them because I hated Backcountry. And I just kind of felt like, if that's what these guys are like, I don't want any part of this. So it just felt too contrived and just too wonky for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm 33 years old at this point when this came out. So I don't know. I was kind of over the teen year kind of, this is goofy but cool. I was kind of past that, and I was kind of looked at probably as an old man already. So, but anyway, yeah, it would have been cool to be on that ride with you though. So
Yeah.
it's cool that you were able to be on that. It's something that you just won't forget if you've ever been on that kind of ride. Not that we were touring with them, but just went around and saw them everywhere. Like for me, one of those people was Kid Rock. Like I got the first Devil Without a Cause. Like I got this little cassette sampler from Quonset Hut. It was like a pack of cigarettes that opened up and it had Bow at the Ba on it. And then the other song was Cowboy on the second side. And it was just the 2 songs. And I'm like, man, who is this guy? But it was for free. Like you walked out of the Quonset Hut. It was just sitting there by the door. I picked it up, popped it in the tape deck. I'm like, whoa, what is this? So I really liked it. And then, I went and saw him at Peabody's and there was like 200 people there. I'm standing there next to Kid Rock at a bar drinking Heineken with him,
Yeah.
like nobody knew who this guy was. And then the next time I saw him, it was, me and my girlfriend at the time, we drove around and saw him. I saw him in Toledo. I saw him in Columbus. We saw him in Detroit, where he's from. So there was like this big buzz. And then like in Toledo too, there was, it was hard to get in. Like they had to, they told us in Toledo, it was at this like market, like kind of a farmer's market, but it was like indoor. So they had a stage set up. It was on wheels. So they had the barricade set up where the security was, but people were pushing their way in there and they were moving the stage. And they're like, look, people, if you guys don't back up, he's not coming out here to play. It's not going to happen. But they had so many people crammed in there. And I'll like never forget that, and go into Columbus and different places to see him. And the Agora here and the Odeon here, like I'll never forget those shows. And then the next thing you know, he's playing at Blossom. But I was like, it's cool to be on that ride and see those kind of shows, you know?
Yep.
So I can totally relate to it. And I wish I was kind of there for this one, because going forward, I absolutely love what they did. So I kind of wish I was there before that all happened. But anyway, long story long. Rating. We're not talking about Kid Rock. So
It's okay.
rated B, number 4. For
All
City of
right.
Evil.
Very good. On to the 4th studio album. This is their attempt at a self-titled album titled Avenged Sevenfold. Fans have known it as the White Album. It's the inverse of Waken the Fallen, black with the white skull. This is all white with the black bat skull. This was released on October 30th, 2007. Produced by the band, the first of many to be produced by the band. This is kind of where they took over for themselves here, doing all the stuff. They released videos and stuff of them recording in the studio, and they have a lot of cool videos of playing the tracks and the different things and how everything sounds and how they layer it together. Intriguing stuff, especially with this album being very experimental. I know a lot of my buddies that liked Avenged Sevenfold the first couple albums, they lost them there. This is an album to me that it really goes in a different direction while still building off of what they did in City of Evil. Definitely a slower paced album. The drums are not 210 beats per minute like the Rev was playing. This is slowed down pace. It's still metal, but with this, it goes all different directions. They look at hard rock. They do like symphonic rock. There's hints of country in here. There's Broadway, like I mentioned before. They do some bongo drums, different types of drums, all kinds of stuff in here where this was like right down my alley. But I had many friends that were just like, I am out. A little bit shorter of an album too, a little bit more to the point. This only had 10 songs, 53 minutes, and I thought was phenomenal. This was my favorite album by them for a long time until maybe the last couple years, where I've kind of looked at things a little bit differently. I appreciate this album so much, just with all the different things that they did with this. I love every song on this album. There's definitely no skippers. Favorites, critical acclaim, I really, really like, even though it still comes across a little cheesy for me nowadays. But Afterlife, probably one of my favorite songs that they do. They still play it live every show. One of my favorite solos by Sinister Gates. Super fast, like unreal how this guy hits those notes. Just a speed player with so much soul. I just can sing his praises so much. But there's a few, like Gunslinger, there's a little like a country opening, and then Dear God, they go like full country twang in that song. But as much as I don't like country, I'm okay with that song. It's a great song. Highlight of this album, and I know this is probably going to be something. People either love this or hate this, but A Little Piece of Heaven, I think, is so good. And that's the Broadway like sounding song. It's very operatic and it's very strange and out of place. And I did not like it at first, but man, it has grown on me to be one of my favorite songs by the band. Overall, this is a phenomenal album. I come back to this all the time. 0 skips, all really, really good. Just only so much I could say. I saw these guys on this tour. They played CSU Convocation Center at the time. It was like their first like tour with arenas and stuff like that. They had Papa Roach with them and Buck Cherry, and I can't remember who else, but it was a phenomenal show. Love this album so much. Number 2 for me, like I said, this was my favorite for many, many years. 1 has recently passed it, maybe as I've matured more. Little bit of silliness in this album at times, but just still love the songs. This is an A album. Number 2, love it. What did you think of the self-titled Avenged Sevenfold?
You can hear this band maturing with each album. It's a little, although you kind of said it, there's all over the place parts, and there are, but it's kind of less goofy and all over the place for me than City of Evil is, if that makes sense. It's just tighter, more mature songwriting is just so evident here. Better melodies and hooks, tighter as a band. Sometimes on previous albums, it sounded as if members were playing slightly different songs, especially with the rev. He's trying to get to his 210 beats per minute. And it almost, I mean, we talked about this with Mastodon too. Like when you're just a just ridiculous musician, I feel like sometimes like they want to put it all in there and it's too much,
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's like, dude, you don't need all that. And when he slows it down and plays along with the band and they sound tighter together, it's so much better than just kind of guys showing off. You know what I mean? Like Sinister Gates, like he writes crazy, ridiculous solos, but they fit in the song. They fit in the key of the song. He's not playing just to play and like, look what I can do here and there. It's not like that. It all fits in the structure of the song. So it's just so much better when they can just hone it together, and they're there now,
Right.
So I don't know. I also read the slower tempo is a result of them touring with really big bands and how their sound projects to an audience live versus what they were trying to do, like with City of Evil and before. Like they're toured with Disturbed and System of a Down and Metallica, like, and they're hearing like Sad But True, and they're hearing Disturbed songs, and how much space there is for like the crowd to get involved in. Like you can project that out so much better when it's a little slower and like tighter. You're projecting it out more rather than it just being this flat like noise all coming through the speakers at you, where it kind of sounds like when you're just playing too fast and guys are kind of all over the place. It just kind of sounds like a bunch of blah coming at you. You can't pick things out as well. Where if it's a little slower and tighter, it's just boom, boom. So they totally felt that, and that really kind of reflected in their songwriting. And I think really, you said they lost fans. Yeah, they did, but they gained even more.
Even more. Yeah.
My God, like they were blowing up from the last album. This one just exploded them off into the stratosphere. Like
Yep.
they gained so many fans with what they were doing here. It's so good. It shows off all the things that the members can do, but within the constructs of the songs, it's just so good. This is number one for me. I still like this album more. I fought with rating this one versus one of the other ones, and it really came down to how many songs I like on one versus the other one. This one I love Almost Easy. I love Scream. I love Afterlife. It's so good. I mean, I could just keep going. Brompton Cocktail I like a lot. I like Critical Acclaim. Like you said, it's a little goofy, but I do like that. And I feel like that the songwriting on that one, like the theme is a little different. It comes across different than what it was meant to be. It comes across as political, where it kind of, I don't think that was the intention. If you read about how he wrote it, it was kind of like people being critical of other people, not so much like right versus left, but just people being critical of each other, which is even worse today. It's even more relevant today than it was then, 18 years ago. So I just feel like it gets a bad rap because people look at it as a political sign. I don't think it really is. But anyway, it's a little dated. I agree with you there, though. But I do like that song a lot. So I could just go on and on. Again, now I don't like A Little Piece of Heaven as much as you do. I haven't listened to it as many times as you have. It's a little too show tune-ish for me, but I still like it. Yeah. I still like that song. Like you said, Gunslinger's got a little country in it, and Dear God's got a lot of country in it, and that seems out of place to me, but they're still good songs.
They are, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that about a lot of other bands. They try to put that in there, and I've said it about other bands. So they try to put that stuff in there. I'm like, what are you doing? You're doing stuff that works for you. What are you doing? It works for these guys.
Yeah.
It's because they're just so good at what they do. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but this is number one for me. This is an A. I do love the whole album, except for the Little Piece of Heaven, you know, the show tunishness of that. It always kind of turns me off with a metal band when you kind of get with a kind of a show tune kind of thing. But I wouldn't even skip that song. So even that's not a skipper for me. So it's the only thing really that keeps it for me an A+ for me, honestly.
Yeah.
So I have it as an A, and I have this at number 1. But man, I fretted over it. We're into some really, really great territory now. And these albums
Yeah.
I could listen to over and over and over again.
Yep.
There's like, and I think I would like some of these songs even more than I already do. So
Sure.
yeah. Anyway, A, number 1.
All right. I like it. Number 5 studio album, released July 23rd, 2010, Nightmare. Unfortunately, the Rev in recording this album passed, which was shocking. It really affected me. Certain deaths of musicians just affect you different ways. Just so sad. Like he had become more and more part of the band. He did a lot of like backup vocals on the self-titled album.
Songwriting.
Yeah, songwriting. He was
Songwriting.
really getting into it. Unfortunately, died of overdose of oxy and diazepam, just alcohol. Like they say, the whole unholy trinity. You mix the wrong meds, man, you're screwed. And just so young, so talented, just awful. So he did write a lot of stuff on this album. He did have a lot of drum parts already written and things like that. They did actually keep his vocal tracks on this album as well, which is like almost creepy to me. I mean, I know they loved it, having that in there. But to me, it's haunting. It's like, the guy just passed and you still got his voice in there. Anyway, it's phenomenal. But they ended up obviously recruiting Dream Theater's Mike Portnoy to do the rest of the drum tracks on here to do this album. And it just works. It sounds phenomenal. This is the album, kind of almost moving to the end a little bit here. This one I did not like when it first came out. I don't want to say I didn't like it, but it was rough on me, where I was like, okay, I loved the self-titled. This is a little rough. Over the years, this just has grown and grown and grown, and I love this album. Awesome cover, the little bat guy, but he's more of a like death type character. He's overseeing a grave, and the grave has forever on it, with the emphasis on the REV, obviously. So the FO is small, the ER at the end is small, the Rev is up, so it's like a grave. But
My favorite album cover.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's
Awesome.
just so cool. And a lot of the album is just pain. Like you could feel it, like pain in these musicians. They're absolutely hurting, but I'm glad they carried on. I'm sure everybody else is as well, and I'm sure that's what the Rev would have wanted. Just really, really sad to lose that type of musician so young, like 27, something like that. Super young. Back to the longer album. This song had 11 songs, 66 minutes, but man, it is a banger. Title track Nightmare. Who could not love that song? It's awesome. They still play it live. They will always play it live. I just could go through these. The first half of this album is nonstop, just brutal. Welcome to the Family, awesome. Danger Line is so good. Buried Alive, they play that live, so good. So Far Away, I dare anybody to listen to the second half of that song and not lose your shit. Like, man, it is sad. It is deep, phenomenal. I love it. The guitar solo is incredible, as we could say about 1,000 of their other songs. Just a great song. This last tour that I saw them, they played Save Me. Oh my God. I love that song as a closer. Anyway, this album is 100% a grower for me, for sure. I went from average to just worshiping this album. This is easily number 1 for me now.
Wow.
And I love the self-titled album, but this is the one I come back to, and I blast it in my headphones, and I love every moment of it. except maybe the song Victim. Victim to me is the one part where I'm like, okay, I could probably go without some of that song. Other than that, it's an almost perfect record for me. Again, number one, it's an A, right alongside the self-titled. But to me, this is just listening to these albums. I was just like, this is my favorite album by them now. Just kind of the way I've evolved to like music. But Nightmare is a big, huge like for me. What did you think of Nightmare, Mr. H?
I didn't like it as much as you did, but I like it a lot though. R.I.P. to Rev again, and his goofy hair I put in here because he had the goofiest hair. Oh my god! So, but man, Mike Portnoy really stepped up and helped them out, which that's fantastic. It's more of the same great like mid tempo stuff that showed up on the last album. The slower tempo allows your stuff to breathe more, like the groove, like 2/3 of the way through Nightmare, like it's so good. And like that, you would have never found that on any of the first 3 albums. They just didn't have that in them. So, and it's so good. I can just, it's kind of like, the songs we talked about in the past, like Aesthetics of Hate, or I could listen to that minute-long piece of Nightmare just over and over and over again. It's so good. But some of their stuff here is a little too slow. This is my only criticism, and it gets a little draggy for me. I get So Far Away. Okay, I get it. That's a great one. But then you follow that up with Victim, and then Tonight the World Dies, and then Fiction. It's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of prominent keyboard and piano usage on here, which is great.
Yep.
I don't know who's credited with doing that. I didn't really look it up. I don't know if it's like a sixth band member.
No, that's M Shadows. He plays the piano.
But it's fantastic.
Yep.
I'm sure he's not playing keyboards while he's out there singing though. So somebody is.
Right.
But yeah, just fantastic addition to sometimes that can kind of ruin a band a little bit. Doesn't ruin these guys. The way they use it, it's really good. My favorites on here are Nightmare, Welcome to the Family, Buried Alive with the John Frusciante-esque intro. It's fantastic. Skipper's maybe one of the slower ones in a row there. Maybe Fiction for me because it's just too much. Or Victim, like you said.
Yeah.
If they just took one of those out, I think I'd be better off. Save Me is good, even though it's like 11 minutes long, but I like that one too.
Yeah.
So it's just those 3 in a row. I'm like, it's 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
and that's a lot. But anyway, I have this as a B+. I have this at number 3. It's still good, but just too many ballady, slow moments for me to love it. But otherwise, it's really, really good stuff. So number 3, B+ for Nightmare.
All right, moving on to album number 6. Hail to the King. August. Yes, another earworm.
Oh god.
Ridiculous. August 23rd, 2013. Produced by a Mike Elizondo. He produced the last one as well. Just great sounding records, man. This is good. They sound, obviously the production is top notch now. They sound crystal clear. The guitars sound good. The vocals sound good. They did get another drummer. Obviously, Mike Portnoy was not going to continue with the band. He just helped them out to do it, to do it in their time of need. They ended up with the drummer, Aaron Elige or whatever his name is. This is the only album that he worked on, and he toured with them for a few years. But sounds phenomenal. Just a very well produced album. This, of course, the album famously being called the Black Album ripoff. Avenged Sevenfold straight up said that while they had been experimental with keyboards, with like we talked about before, like a little bit of country in some songs, some show tuney things, some experimental drums, this is their straight up ode to heavy metal. It's just a straightforward heavy metal album. No frills, probably the least experimental that they got, but they own it. They basically said, this is our ode to hard rock, to heavy metal. And I think they nailed it in that sense of it. The songs are phenomenal. I think that they're written very, very well. I my only problem with it, I feel like this is a very top heavy album. I feel like you put it on, and by halfway through, I feel like it kind of loses a lot of steam for me. 10 songs, 53 minutes. Shepherd of Fire, my God, just the way that that builds up, and so good, great, another great Sinister Gate solo in it. It's just so melodic. Obviously, the song "Hail to the King," like we said, an earworm. That riff, you hear it, you know what it is. Doing Time, I like, a little cheesy, but I like it. This Means War, basically sad but true. I understand that. That's the only song to me that
That's the
feels
one. That's what it gets such
basically,
a
yeah,
bad rap. That's
it
the
does.
only song that sounds like Metallica. None of those other songs sound
No,
like Metallica, but that one, yes, it sounds almost exactly like Sad But True. I get it.
yeah,
But that's the
um,
only one. I mean,
it
come
is.
on. Don't
No, you're
label
right.
it as the Black Album Part 2 or whatever because of one song.
Yeah, so
Ugh.
totally agree. Requiem is good, but I think those are the best songs on the album are those first 5 songs. And to me, that's just where this takes a hit a little bit. If we just copied and pasted song 1 to 5 and then the second half copy 1 to 5, I would love this album. It'd probably be one of my favorite albums of all time.
Make it like Slayer, play the same on both sides.
Right,
The cassette
exactly.
just keeps
Yep.
going.
But, some of these songs later on, Planets, not a huge fan of. Acid Rain, not a huge fan of. Like, to me, the second half of the album, it just really kind of drags it down a little bit. I don't skip most of them, but it's honestly what pulls this down a little bit for me. So Hail to the King for me lands at number 4. It's a B album. But there's some A+ songs on here. It just really, really kind of hurts to give it that grade because I get why people are like, this album, just that second half of it. So to me, that's what drags it down. It's like an A+ first half and like a C- second half of the album. So to me, number 4 and a B. What did you think of Hail to the King?
I disagree, sir. I
Okay.
disagree. There's some killer songs. It's overall, it's not as good. I'm gonna agree. It's not as good as the self-titled one for me,
Okay.
but it's close. It's
Mm-hmm.
close, and there's really only one reason for that. I really like almost all of it except for Acid Rain.
Okay.
They
You like
could have just
Planets
left
too? Yeah.
okay, my favorite songs here. Here's my list:
Okay.
Shepherds of Fire, Hail to the King, both with extra exclamation points.
Yes.
I mean, those two songs. I don't ever turn them off. I don't care how many times I've heard them. I love them both. I mean, Hail to the King is probably my favorite, Avenged Sevenfold song. It's so good. Um, Sad but True Means War. I
Yep.
mean, that I like that song too. Yeah, it sounds like Sad but True, but hey, guess what? I like Sad but True also.
Yeah, I do too.
So I like this song as well. And then after those that I wrote on here, then Heretic, then Coming Home, and Planets. I like all 3 of those songs.
Okay.
So I mean, Crimson Day is okay. I like Requiem. I mean, the only one I would skip is probably Acid Rain. So
Okay.
I have this as kind of more of an A+, B+, A- second half. So
Okay.
overall, yeah, probably more like a B+, I think. Because overall, I have this as an A-, and it's only because of Acid Rain. If they just drop that song off of there, this is going up to an A, and then I'm flipping a coin between this and the self-titled on which one I like more.
Okay.
So I have this at number 2. I have this A-, and again, this has, for me, this has the greater couple of songs on it, even though I love like Afterlife and some of those other songs,
Yeah.
but not as much as I like Shepherd of Fire and Hail to the King. So to me, it has 2 of my favorite songs by them, but the rest of it's just not quite as good as the rest of the self-titled album. So that's what makes it number 2. And like I said, it's almost really only because of Acid Rain, because I even have that as a skip on here as a maybe.
Okay.
Like I even that one, I don't hate it, but I'm like, I don't know. It's just kind of a letdown. I mean, Planets is a little kind of weird, I guess, but I still like it. Like I love the guitar work in all those songs. There's great riffs in there. Like it's the tempo that I like. It's not. I don't know. I like those songs. So I have them all listed in my favorites. Which my favorites, so I listed what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10 songs I listed as favorites. So that's actually more than the self-titled album. But anyhow, I have this as number 2, A-.
All right. Next up, released October 28th, 2016, the seventh studio album titled The Stage. This one was released with zero warning. It was just released, and they were like, guess what? We released an album. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I guess that was the point, right? To release something without no talking about it, no, saying here it comes, no singles, no anything like that. So pretty impressive that they kept it secretive. They released it and I don't think they even got to tour on it. I think it's because COVID hit right about that time when they were planning that tour. I remember when they came to Cleveland recently, they announced that they're like, we didn't get to play the stage, so we're going to play the stage. And I'm glad that they did.
Even though it came out in 2016, like why would they wait 4 years to tour it? It doesn't
well,
make a lot of
yeah,
sense.
I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Maybe I feel like they mentioned that they had a tour scheduled or something. Well, COVID was what? It started in 2019. Was it 20?
2020. It was COVID-19, but it started in like March of 2020.
Okay. All right.
Is when everything shut down. Like
maybe
I
they-
saw Machine Head, the Burn My Eyes tour where they played all Burn My Eyes like in February of that same year. It was like one of the last shows I went to before COVID shut everything down.
Okay.
That was 2020.
Okay. So maybe I missed that, but I don't know. They mentioned something about.
I don't remember them coming here either. I don't think they've been here since 2012. Honestly,
well, they just came last year, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, it's a cue.
But yeah. So we got a really long album here. They really kind of went out there with this one.
Yeah, they did.
There's like again there's signs of this progressive that they're saying. If you listen to interviews, basically they're all like basically saying we don't want to make the same albums anymore, and they're really pushing the boundaries of where they want to go and what they want to do, and I guess kind of scratching their itch of what they want to do with it. But 11 songs, 73 minutes. A lot
bolstered by a almost 16-minute there at the end. So
yeah, exactly. This exists, and they have Neil deGrasse Tyson on there narrating and all that stuff. But yeah, this album has got some highs, like huge highs, and a lot of lows for me. It's hard for me to listen to this all the way through. It gets very convoluted to my ears. Obviously, it's still the same band members. We do have, I will mention, Brooks Wackerman. This is his first album with the band, and he's currently with the band. He used to be the drummer of Bad Religion. That's where he came from. So phenomenal drummer. Obviously, you have to be to play in this band with these guys. But yeah,
it's like if there's ever a guy that needs a stage name, it's Brooks Wackerman, right?
Yeah, but
or Wackerman, like. But it's funny that he's the one without the stage name.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Obviously they.
That always cracked me up.
That's funny.
Sorry.
Favorites on the stage. Obviously the stage, and I could do just on that song alone. I could probably put this at least to like a C. I think that's one of their greatest songs. It just probably again one of my favorite solos that Sin does.
Which one?
Just the stage, the first track. Love that song. I do like a few songs from the first half of that album. Paradigm is good. I do like Sunny Disposition, even with like the trumpets, and I like it. It's an earworm to me. Goddamn is a good song. That's the other single off of this. And I do like Roman Sky as well. Another slower song, but man, I really like that one. A lot of stuff in between there. Angels, Simulation, Higher, like Fermi Paradox. Like this stuff is pretty weird. And I can accept the weird a lot of times, but this album is just a little bit too miss for me. Not enough hit. This is number 6 for me. It's a B-, a lot on the strength of that first song, the title track, which they play live. phenomenal song. It's one of my favorites. I really, really like it. But I can see that this is kind of where things are going off the rails for them a little bit. It's not as, it just seems like they're just wanting to do different stuff now. And it's getting further and further away from what I really like. But this is number 6, B-. It's got some strong tracks, but just overall not one of my favorites. What did you think of the stage, partner?
I have it weirdly. I have it. I mean, I guess there's only 8 albums, so we're bound to run into each other, right? But I have this ranked as number 6 also. But man, yeah. Outside of the first 2 songs, okay, I'm listening along the first 2 songs. This one, I don't know that I ever listened to the whole thing, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. I don't know why. I guess maybe because it was a surprise. I just never knew it came out. I never really heard anything on the radio off of it, so I guess I never really listened to it. As much as I like those last 3 albums, I don't know why the change. Why all of a sudden did they want to go in this weird direction? You know, it's the same guys. I don't was the Rev that big of a writing influence
No,
that
they're
like the last album he didn't write any of.
no,
So
nope.
I don't know why they kept building to that and got to this level where I just really loved them and they had legions of fans, and then they kind of just, I don't know, they're down to like, I don't know, 7 million people a month listening on Spotify. I guarantee you that was probably 25 million when Hail to the King came out.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it was probably way up there. So I mean, yeah, they're still playing big arenas, but I mean, that's kind of off the strength of their catalog. I can't imagine that their fans love this stuff. I mean, I don't know what they're doing here. The production's weird too. Like the drums sound weird on this one. Was there a different producer or was it the same guy? I didn't look.
Let me go back and check.
It was
here.
Joe Barresi and the band.
It was
So,
mostly the band. Yeah, they had
yeah.
Joe Barresi is kind of a record engineer. He
Yeah.
kind of produced Tool, Chevelle, those type of
Okay.
bands, Coheed and Cambria. But he's more the engineer, and
Yeah,
he
the
does produce.
drums,
But
they just have a weird sound to them, and it's just kind of, it's a weird sound compared to the last 3 albums, which all sounded just killer. I'm like, what
yeah,
happened here? So, and then what happened to all the great songs they were writing? Did the well run dry? Like, I don't.
I just think that we're dealing with some weird dudes here, Mr. H. These guys are not like, they're just one of those. Like now they're all in their weird artistic phase, and
Okay.
that's where they're going. And they I've seen interviews, and they're like, listen, I know it's different, but this is what we want to do now. They're just basically, this is where we're at. So I hope you like it.
Yeah, well, I don't. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what is with the weird horns and Sunny Disposition. Like, I feel like I could like that song, but the horns just completely throw me off. I don't have anything against horns,
Yeah.
but it just completely throws me off. And the lyrics are kind of goofy too, but the horns just throw me off. I'm like, what is this? This is so different. Like, what are they doing? And then creating God is really weird also. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's he doing with the vocals. Like,
That's the first sense of that happening.
yeah, and
Next
doesn't
album we'll
continue
get
on,
into it.
unfortunately. But yeah, yeah, I'd love to hear what it is, because I didn't read about it. I was just like, even in the next album, I think one of my comments was, is he having voice issues, that he's got a
Nope.
that he's running this stuff through like weird simulators and doing weird effects with his vocals. Like, the dude, oh my god, he's got one of the greatest metal voices out there, and he's just ruining it, and I don't understand it. It kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it kind of makes me mad, because I'm like, man, why? So anyway, that's a weird song. And then is there some kind of weird kind of religious theme? You got goddamn creating God and angels, all 3 together in the middle of the album. So I don't know.
I don't know.
I couldn't really, I didn't pick up anything in the lyrics. Like, why are they related? Is it like the unholy, or the holy trio of songs? Like, I don't know. Anyway, the favorites, there's nothing I really love here. Some I like better than others. The first 2 songs, the Stage and Paradigm, like those are decent, but they're still not to the level of what they were doing before. I mean, the Stage is probably the closest thing, but it just fell off so far from there, and it just kind of kept getting worse. So the skippers for me are the Sunny Disposition with the horns, and then Roman Sky I didn't like. Exist. I mean, what is this? Is this Dream Theater? Like, I feel like, is Portnoy still involved somehow? Like, Exist, it just screams Dream Theater to me, but with some kind of weird recorded spoken track, that's not M Shadow singing with his ridiculously great voice. So I don't know. And it's 16 minutes long. I'm like, it's got Dream Theater written all over it. I don't know what that is. So I have this ranked as a C. I mean, I guess probably more like a C minus. I had this at number 6. This album's just kind of mid for me. There's just some weird jazz stuff in there, simulation, weird instrumentation and vocal delivery with the horns and like some of the different effects and the way he's singing. I just don't understand what they're doing here, and nothing really kind of stands out for me. It kind of sounds like Avenged Sevenfold, and then it kind of doesn't. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This one's teetering on the edge of sanity for me compared to where they were, and I don't know why. So
Yeah.
I have this at number 6 as a C.
All right. Now,
Ugh. Let's crack 'em.
7 years later.
Get at it. Yeah, 7
Oh.
years. Like, what happened? Like, is there artistic phase that involved painting? Because the album cover for the stage, I do want to. I did miss the Hail to the King, the vinyl album cover for Hail to the King with the skeleton sitting in the throne.
Yeah.
with the bat wings is fantastic. I wish that was the actual album cover rather than just the half a bat. You know? But they've done the bat too many times and too many album covers. So, like, man, just why didn't you put that on the vinyl one? Because it's fantastic. But anyway, I wanted to mention that and I forgot to.
Yeah, all good. Life is but a dream.
Or a friggin'
June
nightmare.
2nd.
And not the good kind, like a couple albums ago.
Yeah. See, I knew going into this album that it was going to be, I feel like, I'm going to sit and defend it, but I can't fully defend it because I get it. Again, it's a very strange album. When it first came out, I detested it. I was like, what is this? Probably the same as you listening to it the first time.
Yeah.
I was probably close to where you were at. I did, I guess, have the benefit of seeing 3 or 4 of these songs live before the album came out, and then I saw them after the album came out. So I listened to this quite a bit because it's new, because I really, really like this band a lot. But there's no denying that it's an extremely experimental. They even say it's like an avant-garde metal / progressive metal. There's a lot of stuff going on, and within songs, I can tell you there's parts that I really like and parts that I just am confused. And it's like the funniest thing is, so one of the singles came out, and I sent it over to our buddy Brian Hendrickson, and he's like, "Dude, I just listened to this, and I don't know if this is the worst thing I've ever heard, or it's just too good that my mind doesn't.
I just don't understand it.
and
it's
I think
beyond me.
It was the song that's like, what is it? We love you. The more money, more something else, more something else. It's just it's pretty freaking weird. There's really no way around it. 11 songs, 53 minutes. It's an exhausting listen, especially if you're listening to it the first couple times and you don't know what to expect. Favorites of mine, and again, this has taken a lot of listening to even get here, but I like Mattel and I like Nobody. Those are like the two of the singles. And I just got familiar with them, and I can at least appreciate those songs. Once we get past those two, I think Cosmic is really, really good. That's probably the closest to something that they've written in the past. They closed with it when I saw them in Cleveland here recently, and with the visuals and stuff, it was pretty cool. And then Beautiful Morning is okay. In between that, Game Over is very weird. We Love You is completely weird. To me, We Love You feels like listening to like Mr. Bungle, like that type of where it's just complete chaos, just complete was happening. He's got like voice modifications in the middle of the song and weird stuff. And then they have their God trilogy song, which they were playing. I'm glad they played that the first half of the tour. I'm not a fan of that at all. So really, when you
I
look at
just
this,
see that now. I didn't even notice that before. I
yeah,
was like, "Why are the O and the D in parentheses?"
yeah,
And now I get it. I never even didn't even see that. I was like, it seems like something that another band would do, like like Machine Head's doing with all the O's with the slash
yes,
through them. You know, it just
and it
feels like that. Like
drives me freaking
I'm like, what
crazy.
is this? But now I actually see it. It makes sense. It doesn't make the songs any better for me, but at
Mm,
least now I
yeah,
see that. I'm like, oh god, now I see that.
yeah.
Interesting.
Again, I'm familiar with this album. I've listened to it quite a few times. This has gotten the benefit of the doubt for me just because it's a band that I really, really like. So I have pounded this in my ears, and I can say there are moments that I appreciate it, but there is no way in hell I would expect any casual listener to listen to this say, what is happening here? Especially after listening to Hail to the King and Nightmare and the self-titled album. I totally get it. That being said, I do like a few moments on it, not a lot. I liked a lot of the songs live. That helped. All in all, this is number 7 for me, and it's a C minus. It's not great. It's just I like it a little bit more than that first record, just because there's at least some things in it, some guitar solos. I can appreciate that they're trying to do something different, even though they fell flat, and it's not great. I probably am raising it up a little bit too much because I really like this band, but this is all weird. I can admit it. It's a weird album. Number 7 and a C minus. And now I'm going to listen to you shit all over this album. Mr. H, take it away.
Oh, okay. All right. So, first of all, avant garbage is what
Right.
this is.
Right.
And that could just be my whole review of this album right there. Way more weird vocal delivery. Again, is he having voice issues? Now, is there an explanation to
No.
what in the hell he's trying to do here? There's
Nope.
nothing.
Nope.
I think I would like the song Mattel, except that there's these weird vocal parts that I just don't get.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying. Like I
Yeah.
tried. Like I don't know what are they trying to do here. I mean, it's way beyond, you know, the casual listener. Like anybody that's ever been a fan of this band would listen to this and be like, I don't know, you had to have hated this at some point. You know, like I don't know how you could even I don't know. I don't know. You do you. I can't. I just can't. I don't know who this band is anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that this band knows who they are anymore. I honestly don't. It's like they're trying to sound like the Deftones at some point or Faith No More. You mentioned
Mhm.
Mr. Bungle. Like I got that vibe too. Like that's
Yeah.
not Avenged Sevenfold.
Right.
What is that? That's what those bands do.
Right.
Why are you trying to do that? I don't know. The favorites, there's nothing.
You don't even like Nobody? You don't like
There's
Nobody
nothing.
either?
No, there's nothing
Wow.
on here that I like.
That I'm surprised because Nobody doesn't have the voice effects. That's got his real singing voice.
And
And
it's just
and
not a great song.
and it's got a really, really good guitar solo. That like the like
Yeah.
it's okay.
I guess.
I thought that would be the one that you were like, okay. Probably
Well,
by then you were so defeated. Probably.
I get, and it's only the third song.
Yeah.
So I mean, oh my goodness. I was so thrown off by Game Over.
Yeah.
I just wrote WTF after that. Like I don't. That my first skipper was the first song, and then I just put comma many more because I
Yeah.
don't know what this is. I don't
Yeah.
know what this album is. I mean, I guess maybe nobody is like, maybe I've heard that before in another Avenged Sevenfold song. Maybe it just sounded too similar to me that, you know, was like, I don't know, they just took this part and tried to fit this solo in here to make it sound like to appease their once fans that they had. How many of these did they sell? Like who bought this?
I did.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
No,
Man.
it's just one of those things
I
that
know that you really like a band, and I feel like you're trying like to convince yourself that this is good in some way. But man, it is what it is. Like, oh
I
man,
got
hey,
somebody else here, Cynthia. She loves
are you
Mattel
sure
too.
that's not you?
That's not me.
Is that you? Are you?
No, there are people out there that like some of these songs, and I told you, Mattel is a decent song. I get it. They mess with his vocals. They probably should leave it alone, but I think that's a good song. And Nobody also, I think Nobody's a phenomenal song too. Um, I agree with you
Well,
on Game
welcome,
Over.
Cynthia. I'm so happy that you're here, but I don't know why I feel like this is like a ghost account of Herd here, because
No, there
I
are people
just
that like this stuff.
did he write you a note to tell you to come in here and write some good things about this album as I was trashing it? Because I don't know, it just seems too coincidental.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for being here. I hope you come back. I hate this album so much. Yeah, well, it's good that you fell asleep. Yeah, because there's nothing to
John,
hear here. This is avant garbage, as I already said.
no,
Um, this is a D rating for me. This is 8. This album is just pretty much garbage. I don't give anything an F.
right.
If you're new, Cynthia, I don't give anything an F. So because they put out an album, it's something I could never do. So I can't fail them for that. But man, I don't know who this band is anymore. Sometimes I wrote in here. Sometimes they're Deftones. Sometimes they're Faith No More. Sometimes they're Alice in Chains. There's a song in here. I don't know if it's Easier.
Easier. Yeah, that's
It
their Alice in
sounds
Chains
like
song,
Alice
yeah.
in Chains. Like in this, Alice in Chains makes Alice in Chains songs. Why do we need Avenged Sevenfold to write Alice in Chains song? And none of these things they do well. None of them. The
Yeah.
Deftones sounding stuff, the Faith No More, none of it. They don't do well. So I don't like any of this. And honestly, I'll never listen to this album again. Ever.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to ever come back and listen to this. Now that you said it, maybe I'll go back and listen to Nobody again just to see if maybe somehow I like that. But it's just, this is so far removed from 2 albums ago
Yeah.
that I loved, absolutely loved, except for one song.
Yeah.
And I just don't get any of this. So
do me a favor.
yeah.
Check the video out for Nobody. Put your
Okay.
headphones on, watch the video, because actually they do a really good, it's like a stop action, like it shows like a skull like going through a day, and listen to
Why
the
do they
song.
even still use the same imagery? Just get rid of it all.
Because they still
They ought to change their
the same
name. They
guys.
should be call themselves Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know. Call themselves Wackerman. Just call yourselves Wackerman. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. No,
Mattel songs, yeah,
I knew-
pretty
I-
much outstanding.
I had predicted that this is the way you would feel, and I can't blame you. I
Yeah.
cannot
sorry,
blame
man.
you. No, I can't.
I don't mean to bash one of your favorite bands, but I know that you deep down don't like this album that
Oh, I
much
don't.
either.
It's number 7, man. It's
I don't know how it's not number 8.
well,
At
because
least the original first album that you have is 8. At least that sounds somewhat similar to, you can hear parts of them in there. And this one, I don't know,
yeah,
especially after what they had done. The peaks that they had reached for 3 straight albums were just unbelievable. And even 4, if you
Yeah.
want to count City of Evil.
yeah,
It's just I don't know why you would even try to do something like this without putting another name on it. You know, even Metallica, you know, with Lou Reed, even they changed the name at least. It wasn't just, hey, this is Metallica with the Metallica logo. Like, no.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something that different, why do you even keep the same name? All it does is tarnish what you did before. You might as well throw all that shit out. Like, I don't know. It makes me so mad because this guy has an unbelievable heavy metal singing voice, and it's just put it in a trash can on this album. Why? Why do you do that? You've got an amazing talent, an amazing instrument, and Sinister Gates he might as well play you know, with 2 strings on his guitar or something, but go out there and play with a banjo. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me why you would do something and make it so drastically different. And it's not good. It's not good. None of it's good. All right, I'm done. So,
All right, Mr. H.
you want me to give my overall?
Give me your 8 through 1.
Just gave you the 8. I'm not even going to say the name again. Number 7, The Stage. Number 6, Seventh Trumpet. Number 5, Waking the Fallen. Number 4, City of Evil. Number 3, Nightmare. Number 2, Hail to the King. Number 1, self-titled Avenged Sevenfold. I feel like our rankings aren't going to be that far off of each other, to be honest, after all that. So.
No, they're really not. That's
funny.
The funny thing.
Yep.
Yeah, number 8, I had Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. Number 7, Life is But a Dream. Number 6, The Stage. Number 5, I had Waken the Fallen. Number 4, Hail to the King. Number 3, City of Evil. Number 2, the self-titled Avenged Sevenfold. And number 1, Nightmare is my 8 to 1. Pretty close, like you said. You only have 8 albums, and
yeah,
I think we basically agree on at least the echelons of like the top ranked, the middle, and then the ones at the bottom.
For sure. Yeah, we definitely maybe we disagree on what our favorite one is, but they're all pretty close. I mean, it's just I don't know. I'm not looking forward to another album from them. After that, I really am not. I don't know. I mean, they've gone so far down this rabbit hole. I don't know if they can pull themselves out of it, to be honest with you. It started on the stage.
Yeah,
you could see the direction they were going. That's why you said this last one wasn't even a surprise to you. Kind of wasn't for me either. I mean, because they started some of that stuff on the stage, and I'm like, where is this? What's this weird jazz stuff they were doing? Like, what are we doing here? And then I'm like, okay, but it's only a few of the songs. It's not a lot of them.
I just feel like
album is just almost all like that.
It's probably drugs related. Don't do drugs, kids.
We gotta bring back the commercial with the "This is your brain on drugs" and the skillet kind of thing.
Yeah, just play the riff for "Shepherd of Fire."
Oh,
this is your brain not on drugs,
right?
And then play the beginning of Game Over or whatever it is from.
Sadly, maybe it's the opposite.
Maybe.
I hope that's not.
They're sober now. Now they're
right.
all crazy.
Now they went all artsy. They're all like painting pictures. Like I said, the album covers got weird. Like, I know you have this one behind you, but I don't know what.
They worked with an artist. Basically, I guess this famous artist, and I don't know famous. I don't know artists these days that are famous, but I guess there was a guy, I guess, that does this stuff. They wanted to work together. I guess he sent them this Wes Lang guy, I guess, the album before it was released, and said just make a cover. And I guess these are the things that he came up to. Just good stuff. So just very strange. I mean, it keeps the same theme, but it's very, very strange. But again, this is the artist style, so I guess that's the whole thing with it.
Welcome, Faisal. Did I get that right?
Maybe, yeah. RB.
Welcome. Boy, it's great having other people in here. We love you, John, but it's also great to have other people in here that we don't see. So thanks for joining, and I'm glad you love Avenged Sevenfold. Heard here is one of their favorite bands. It's one of his bands too. So
absolutely love these guys, and I will probably still see them anytime they come through town. And again, these are my you get lonely.
God gets lonely.
These last couple albums obviously aren't my favorite, but they're still amazing musicians. So maybe they'll be like, all right, let's go make another rock album. Maybe, I think John said earlier that he's hoping the reaction to this album causes them to have a big old school sounding comeback. Why wouldn't you? Like maybe that's why you try something new, it bombs, and now you're like, all right, I'm gonna go make another whatever. So.
I don't know. All music 4 out of 5 stars. Classic rock 4 out of 5. Kerrang 4 out of 5 stars. Metal Hammer 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't get it. Yep. I guess I don't know. Maybe they love the artsiness of it, I guess.
Yep. Arya, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Arya.
But yeah, we're here almost every week.
Every Tuesday, about 6:30, 6:45
Eastern time. So,
Eastern time.
Anybody want to join us? We go A to Z in the alphabet. We'll pick bands that are A, then we'll go on to B. We'll just go through their discography. We'll go through live experiences we have, basically anything we can drum up on these bands. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Next episode coming up, we have Aerosmith, right?
Yes.
So we got a lot of listening to do to get ready for them. There are a lot of albums. We're hoping to get a special guest for us. So we will keep you posted on that. So thanks everybody again for listening. Anything else you have, Mr. H, before we say goodbye?
No, I'm almost a little sad that we've got more people in here commenting, and now the show's pretty much over. So, is there something else we can talk Avenged Sevenfold for a little bit? I don't know. I mean, of their 19-ish times you've seen them, what's the one that stands out the most?
Well, nothing's going to beat that first Odeon show. Seeing them
fair
on,
enough.
I mean, now
Even with all the great stuff that came after, huh?
Yeah, there's just something to be said about seeing them in such a small venue.
Yeah,
and they were just so raw and so young, and yeah. But again, like, I'll never forget that when I first seen them that first time, they had like the just regular platforms in front of the stage where M Shadows would sing most of the time, but like when we mentioned Backcountry and we talk about that solo, they're back to back, and Zachy Vengeance is a lefty and Sinister Gates is a righty, and they go back to back, and they're harmonizing on that guitar. Like, you could hear where they're co-soloing it, where one's playing a high part, one's playing a low part, and they just go right off of each other. And it's so good. It's it's their bread and butter, where they play these solos, and they don't do a lot of them later on. That was more of a City of Evil type of thing. They kind of got away from that, where I think Zachy V later on was more of the rhythm guitar. If you notice in a lot of their album lists, he's playing more of the rhythm, and then Sinister Gates is playing the solo on most.
Yeah, it's less equal parts than it used to be. I agree with that. Best time I saw him, I've only seen him twice. The best time was at one of those Mayhem Fest all day festival shows, and I was telling you we had pit tickets for that one, and I got somehow people left at whoever was playing before them, Godsmack or whoever it was, and people kind of left, went to the bathroom, whatever. We just moved up and stood right against the security gate there, almost right in the middle for Avenged Sevenfold. It was fantastic, man. That was for Hail to the King. So
yeah.
Oh man, I got to see all the greatness. Like, I don't think I'll ever get to see him, as well again as I did that night. That was unbelievable. So
yeah,
I just kind of got lucky and lucked into that one. But yeah, it will never get better than that. So, and when they come back and do Life Is But a Dream in its entirety,
they won't.
I won't be at that one. So
I mean, even when I seen them recently, they still played, and I give them credit. They're not young guys anymore. They played probably 2.5 hours. And
wow.
they played probably 5 or 6 songs off Life Is But a Dream, but they still zoomed through a lot of their other catalog. They still played they played Nightmare, they played Hail to the King, Shepherd of Fire. I think they probably played. They played a couple, like I said, they played off of City of Evil. I don't think they play Beast in the Harlot anymore. I think the funny story with that is, I think Sinister Gates is like, he just can't stand it. Like, I think he feels that the same way that you and I guess both of us feel about Backcountry, where it's just like, I'm kind of done with that. But they always play Backcountry. They're always going to play that. But they played a couple other songs off there. They play Unholy Confessions, of course. They always play that. So they go through their they played Afterlife. They played Little Piece of Heaven when I saw them at the festival, which I was like, I couldn't believe that they played that there.
Yeah, especially at a festival where you're kind of limited the time,
Right. That's a 10-minute song or whatever. But then, like I said, they played that Save Me, which to me is like a deep cut, where I didn't think.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I didn't think that was something that they would pull out, but they start with the bass beginning, and it just, man, when I heard that, I was like, are you kidding me? But that's the cool thing I think about it is, this band, they have so many albums and so much material now. I think they're trying to kind of do that, where they play songs that, like, whoa, I can't believe they're going to play that on this tour. But I can't imagine they're going to continue playing a lot of this Life is But a Dream stuff in future tours. Again, we'll see what they do in this next album, if there is. Again, 7 years between the stage and Life is But a Dream.
And that's the best they could come up with in 7 years.
Yeah.
It took him 4 years. I just read just a little bit for a second there. It took him 4 years to write that album. I'm like, and that's what you came up with?
Well,
Wow.
it probably would have taken a lot less time to come up with like straight rock and roll stuff that probably we would have liked better. They went really overboard with like the electronics and if you listen, and I'm sure you listen to it with headphones, but there's like 50 things going on at once in a lot of these songs. It's just so much happening.
There is.
I'm sure it takes a lot to coordinate all that. So I'm sure it was a pain to record that album.
Yeah, here's my vocals. Run it through this effect. No, I don't like that one. Run it through this one. No, I don't like that one. Run it through this one. You know, like I can imagine there's a lot of experimentation there, and that all takes time, you know.
Right.
Turn it up, turn it down, pitch it up, pitch it down. You know,
Yeah,
there's probably all kinds of stuff going on there behind the scenes. It takes a long time to record when you add all that stuff into it. Has to. I don't see how it can be fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So I guess that wraps it up.
All right. Well, good stuff. Thanks, Mr. H, for another great episode. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yes.
Thank you, John, of course. Always have John with us. Thank you, Aria. Thank you, Faisal RB. Appreciate it. Thank you, Cynthia, for watching.
Yes.
Appreciate everybody joining us, giving your feedback, giving your 2 cents.
We hope to see you all again very
absolutely. Please, subscribe to the channel and leave comments and leave likes and all that stuff.
Ideas you want to hear, any of that stuff.
Yeah,
what
you have a band.
What didn't you like? You don't like me trashing an album for too long? Tell me. I'll stop it. I'll cut it shorter next time.
Yep. But thanks everybody for watching. Again, we'll see you probably in the next couple weeks. We'll tackle Aerosmith, and we'll continue on with our A to Z rock and metal podcast. So we will see you in the next one.
Rock on.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.